Hello, I'm Mary Ellen, and this is my brother Charlie.
My sisters, Roberta and Mary Ellen, and my daughter Laura and myself are the managers of the Mud Bay Tree Farm. Years ago, our parents formed a family corporation and we were brought in as managers of the property.
This piece of property was purchased by my parents, Ralph and Frances DeBruler, in 1943 during World War II. After the war, they started bringing us to this place and taught us the wonders of the beach and the forest, and they loved this place. So when they died, we had no question about whether we would subdivide and sell this treasured piece of our history. We decided that we would try to find a way to preserve it for future generations to enjoy and care for as we have done.
Hi, I'm Kathleen, Stewardship Manager for the San Juan Preservation Trust. Today, I'm on the shore of Mud Bay, here on the beautiful southeast side of Lopez Island, and on one of the most biologically productive shoreline habitats in all the San Juan Islands. More specifically, I'm on a stretch of shoreline property known as the Mud Bay Tree Farm Conservation Easement. This was recently protected through a unique partnership formed 3 years ago with the San Juan Preservation Trust, the Friends of the San Juans, and the family-owned Mud Bay Tree Farm. With funding from the Washington State Salmon Recovery Funding Board, also known as SURF Board, we were able to strategically seek out valuable shoreline properties, such as this one, that already support salmon populations and work with the private property owners to effectively uphold the conservation values by purchasing a conservation easement. This is a legal document and it permanently restricts development on the property that could devastate the sensitive marine ecosystem and disrupt natural processes. Private landowners have an important part to play in salmon recovery because 90% of waterfront property here in the San Juan Islands is in private ownership. Mud Bay is one of the 4 largest forage fish spawning regions in San Juan County, where all 3 species of forage fish spawn. So these spawning sites have been documented by Friends of the San Juans and by Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife on their beach surveys. So what do we mean by forage fish? Well, forage fish are basically the little fish that feed a large number of other animals, such as Chinook salmon, actually 44 different species of animals, everything from seabirds to marine mammals. And so they're really kind of the linchpin in this whole really complex marine ecosystem that we have here that extends all the way to our beloved southern resident orca. Here in the county, we have 3 different species of forage fish, and they are Pacific herring, Pacific sand lance, and surf smelt. And the surf smelt and the sand lance actually spawn and lay their eggs in the upper intertidal areas, whereas Pacific herring attach their eggs to eelgrass blades in eelgrass beds just offshore. One of the valuable features of this shoreline is the bluff, which is known as a feeder bluff. It's called a feeder bluff because as it erodes, it's depositing sediment down into this beach and also to neighboring beaches. So this erosion process is really critical because it's providing sediment down to the beach, and it's this sediment that's crucial for the forage fish to be able to lay their eggs in. Human impacts such as shoreline armoring, dock construction, clearing and grading could really negatively impact these bluffs and this process. And so we're really glad that we're able to protect these kinds of shorelines in particular in perpetuity. If we want to understand this entire nearshore ecosystem, we also need to look at what's growing atop the bluff. These shrubby vegetative areas along the shorelines are known as marine riparian habitat, and they serve as a connection between the aquatic and terrestrial systems. This riparian zone provides a safe haven for songbirds, as well as habitat for insects that will occasionally become food for juvenile salmon. Coastal trees and other shrubs create a microclimate that provides shade for the forage fish eggs incubating in the sand below. These bluffside trees also stabilize the soil from catastrophic erosion events. This transitional area truly upholds the integrity of the entire nearshore ecosystem. Now let's move on to our last habitat. Our conifer forests have a long history of human influence, from small intensity fires lit by the Coast Salish peoples to the clearing of timber to feed the booming lime industry in the late 1800s. However, once fires were suppressed and the clear-cut forests began to regenerate, densely packed stands of conifers proliferated throughout the islands. These dense stands are typically low in biodiversity, as a crowded canopy lets little light through to the understory, suppressing growth. We can, however, recreate the conditions that Mother Nature intended to keep this forest healthy and thriving by periodic thinning. When done in a thoughtful and sustainable manner, this active management results in a much healthier forest ecosystem overall. Thank you for letting me share one of my favorite conservation projects to be a part of.
Over the years, we have all enjoyed using the beach and the woods in our own individual ways. Working with the Preservation Trust, we have also gained a deeper understanding of the shoreline's importance to the health of the Salish Sea and its marine life.
Our family will be forever grateful to the San Juan Preservation Trust and the Friends of the San Juans for their commitment to protecting the natural habitat of the San Juan Islands, and by standing beside us as our partners in preserving this forest and this beach.